Talk at ya. Welcome one and all to Not Just A Guy, the show about by and for struggling storytellers. I'm your host, Not Just A Guy, the guy, Garrett and Emily, joined by my co-host, not just a co-host, the co-host, Emily Cunningham.
Hi.
Folks, we're sleepy, we're tired, we're sleepy, but we're getting it done.
Too much.
You gotta get it in. You gotta get it in. You gotta, even when you don't feel like doing it, sometimes that's when you gotta do it. Not that we didn't feel like doing it, but
Even when you've overeaten and it's hot, it's 95
Yes.
degrees and there's fans going all over the place.
I was gonna say, if you hear a fan in the back, don't complain.
No,
We're
you don't.
humans. We're literal humans.
If you hear a fan in the background, no, you don't.
Also, get over yourself. We're humans. We don't want to melt and die. I'm sorry. I want to keep the house.
We have a fur
I was
child
gonna
to
say,
keep cool.
we have a little creature that moves around the house with fur on it. I don't want it to get hot. He's a good boy.
He's just so small.
Hashtag good boy fits. Folks, today, I don't know how long today's episode is going to be, but it's gonna be an episode. We're talking the two R's. We're talking rejection and resumes. They go hand in hand. They both suck. And I think it's something that's something you got to talk about when it comes to working. I mean, really, it applies to every and any facet of life, but also very much in the storytelling world we find ourselves in. But yeah, I've wanted to do one on this recently, as I've been working on my resume, and I recently have stuff to go through. Emily can also, as much as she wants to go into it, she also experienced this.
And I have the rejection side.
Oh, I have a rejection too. I got an email the other day.
You?
Yeah, I got an email the other day.
Oh.
Just like we've thank you
Thanks
for
but no
doing
thanks.
it, but we've decided to go in a different direction. It's
Yeah.
like, okay.
I mean, hey, at least I will say
I would rather open an email that just says no.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want the whole rigmarole.
No, but I mean, I will say, though, I do appreciate the companies that, at the very least, take the time to let you know.
Yeah.
I can't tell you
I
how many
appreciate that.
times I have sent so many things out into the void, followed up on things, never heard back.
Yeah.
Like, they ghost really bad. Like, I don't know why that's a new thing. It shouldn't be, because it's really dumb. But I am happy, because I myself have also gotten an email recently, I think, like, within the last week or so, too.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that, because it's, like, at the very least, they're taking the time out of their day to let you know, hey, thanks but no thanks, have a good one.
Yeah.
I'd rather that than just be like, so I guess Naughty Dog does not want me to work with them.
Yeah.
Then, I guess. Actually, that's not true. Naughty Dog did send me an email, but, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So, but yeah.
Regale us with your most recent tale. What
Yeah.
don't say company names or anything like that. But
so the one from the previous episode, and to my credit, it was made me to believe that was going to be a shoo-in, a no-brainer.
How long was the process? Would you mind letting us know?
Almost over a month. It was
Okay.
like almost a month and a half, which
Okay.
was horrible.
Yeah.
Because again,
What were you feeling as you waited for that month? Especially being told it was almost a shoo-in, essentially.
well, I wasn't told it was a shoo-in, but I was basically like all
Made to
signs,
feel,
yeah, like all
yeah.
signs were pointing to yes, which
Mm-hmm.
was really annoying and really infuriating, because I don't think it would have taken a month if it wasn't in a time frame where it was like the long weekend, and then like I was also trying to work with them on a different time zone, like, or within a different time zone, because I was dealing with like Central Time and Eastern, and was trying to factor that in with my time zone, and then also trying to like keep up with freelance work. And then also I had like wedding stuff, like bridal shower stuff happening, and dress fit, like all that stuff. So it was like a lot of things compiled, which I don't think, I mean, those things would have happened regardless, but
Yeah.
I think that definitely played a bit of like an ongoing, like the reason why it was an ongoing process. But it was one of those things where it was like, if you don't, like, I guess give people that, like, it's cool to like hype people up by
Yeah.
all means. You want to encourage people and make them feel good and confident about themselves and all that fun stuff, and that's great, but don't make it seem like you're gonna get something when you really don't know.
Yeah.
Because that was, so full disclosure, I was reached out to by a recruiter.
Mm-hmm.
off of LinkedIn. It was really cool. I thought it was fake at first because that happens sometime on LinkedIn where it's like a sponsored thing or whatever. It's a bot. And it wasn't. It was a real person. She's awesome. She's been very helpful and she's been very productive for me thus far. And she reached out. I said yes. We hopped on a phone call and it took off from there. Now, she was reaching out to me based off of a job that wasn't even posted anywhere yet. So it was literally like an internal thing, which I'm assuming, I'm not going to pretend to know how like recruiters work. All I know is if they offer you something, like if they go out and get you a job and you get said job, they get a cut. Or like what, like they get commissions basically. I call them people car salesmen because that's basically all they are, is they're trying to sell people to other companies and stuff. But it was literally made to seem like it was a shoo-in only because they haven't had anybody else apply for this yet because it's not posted and you're the first person to and it made it seem like it was good.
Too good to be toi.
Yeah, I mean, it made it seem like it was, you know, awesome and stuff like that. And had my interview and they loved it was 2 rounds. I had my interview and they, like, the head of the head loved me and she thought it was great. And then there was a secondary interview that was, like, meeting the people who I'd be directly working with. And they were having a good old time. And I don't know, like, maybe I just got a little too overconfident. I don't really know. But I remember literally telling you, I texted you, you're at work.
Yeah.
And I said, I think that was the best set of interviews that I've ever had. Because it was just so, like, natural and flawless. And it didn't feel like I was having an interview. I just felt like I was hanging out and talking to people.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, I get told, okay, well, they have 2 more interviews. Which, like, again, I'm not going to pretend like that's supposed to be a shock.
Yeah, you know, they're always looking at people and candidates. Yeah.
Sure. And I, you know, I was like, okay, great. And, you know, that's only fair.
Yeah.
Want to give everybody a shot. Then the day that I was supposed to hear back, everything was taking a little bit longer to the point where I was starting to wonder what was going on because it was a Friday.
Yeah.
And they operate hours ahead of us on the times that they're on. So I was starting to freak out because the workday was over for them. And I hadn't heard anything yet.
Yeah.
And then I realized the second that I heard my recruiter's tone of voice, why it was taking so long.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to give you bad news on a Friday, I guess.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. She's still my recruiter. She's awesome. She said that she'd keep me posted. And they, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, because, I mean, good for that person. But, like, for me, unfortunately, they decided to go with somebody else. And it's because of that golden word that we all love in the industry, because they had just a little bit more experience than I did, which is just like, it's a punch in the gut.
Yeah.
Because you never want to hear that and then go, okay, well then what? Because on my resume as it stands right now, I have on paper and also it's validated, but on paper, on my resume, I have 8+ years of editing experience.
Yeah.
8. It's not 10, but it's 8.
But it's 8, yeah.
So it's like, would 2 more years count as a little bit more experience? Like,
Yeah.
I don't, and it's like, given, you know, I'm not currently editing for the company that I'm working freelance for, but I get opportunities. I get to mess around, plus, like, editing the podcast, editing my own personal stuff, like, just doing things. Like, I, you know, kind of exercise that muscle in that way too, but it's just like, it's always, and this is, I feel like this has been a trend too, where it's like, it's always experience, but then they don't tell you what you're lacking in the experience. And given it's not their job to tell you, but it'd be nice to know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that, and then I literally the week before that came up and the week after that had happened, I got 2 emails, both saying thanks, but no thanks, from 2 different companies.
Yeah.
So triple threat.
Yeah.
So, or triple knockout, not triple threat, but I mean, it sucks.
Yeah.
But that also didn't stop me from, like, the second I got off that phone call, I had my moment. I came out here and I had my little tantrum, if you will, and, you know, wiped my face off and went back into my office and applied for 10 more jobs.
Yeah.
Because it's
not a lack of, you know, it's like you're still, even thinking maybe you had that one, it's not like you just immediately, you know, quit or just like, I lost the one I wanted, I need to go wallow. It's like, no, you got back on the horse, you know. It's just...
Well, because it's not going to do me any good of just, like, sitting, and given this, like, wasn't my dream job or anything, like, this was a, like, pretty nice, secure job that had stability and consistency.
Yeah.
But this wasn't by any means like, this was my like,
Mm-hmm.
like, this wasn't my like, make it or dental school bus. Like, this
Yeah.
wasn't that for me. I don't think
But
it'll
it would just been a better opportunity than what you have now.
Exactly. But it's, I mean, it still sucks, but at the same time, it's like, I feel like at the point that we're at, if you let every rejection hit you, then there really is like no point at that point. Like, if you're going to take every rejection as hard as like losing the dream job, losing the perfect job, like losing whatever, then it's like, you're just going to drive yourself crazy. But, and I also like, I'm kind of like numb to it now, if that's weird to say, of just like, oh, got rejected, all right, keep applying, go because you just want to keep going. It's like weird job gambling where it's like you keep putting $20 in and just gotta hope that it hits.
No, I mean, I've been in a similar boat of applying to jobs that are more film related, and I don't even get into the rooms. I mean, I haven't gotten into any rooms for film related jobs. I never get past the thank you for considering, but we're not going, and I think it just goes to what we were talking about last episode, I should say, of just like, people want experience, but then they don't want to offer experience, and it's like, well, it's like, it's cool that on my resume it says, and on my LinkedIn, which also, I'm using Indeed, LinkedIn, Glassdoor, all the different things, and it feels like everybody every week has like, oh, well, you're not on Sprock Jock. Well, that's where all the jobs are on Sprock Jock.
Flingding.
And it's just like, I guess I gotta go make a Sprock Jock account. But like, I was actually just gonna say, I just don't like LinkedIn. It's like it's like a more stripped down Facebook, and for some reason people use it like Facebook.
Facebook.
Well, it's like people use it like Facebook. I'm like, why are you posting on here like this is Facebook? There's a thing for that. It's called Facebook.
It's every time I see LinkedIn
the only thing
stuff,
it's missing is like the AI posters for fake movies. Like, oh, did you see the thing for Billy Madison 2 and 3 coming out? And it's like the ugliest AI image you've ever seen in your life. Oh wait, that's every AI image.
The only things that I ever see on LinkedIn are like either somebody like complaining about how a certain subgroup of the film industry, because it's tailored to like your stuff, it's somebody complaining about a certain subset of the film industry not getting paid properly or getting cheaped out because people don't know how to pay that subset. Or it's other companies that I've just accidentally forgot to uncheck follow this thing once I apply for it, where it's like, check out this hot new trailer with this guy and Penn Glowell, and it's like, oh, okay, great. It's like, it's very weird. It's very much so corporate Facebook.
And it's just like it's just so interesting to me that in a business that's driven on like personality and drive and creativeness, it's just like so many people get shut out just because this piece of paper you have doesn't have enough letters on it that equal something that catches someone's eye. And then it's like, I mean, you even have things like reels and things like that you add, but I also sometimes I'm just like, how many of these are actually getting looked at?
And it's so weird because you'd think when we were growing up, and I would assume it was the same in your household, but like when we were going through high school, that was all that was ever preached to us of like, oh, you get a college degree, you'll get a better job. This will get you a better job, guaranteed. Now, obviously, it depends on what degree you get, but it's like, I'm actually kind of surprised that like people don't look at like a film degree and be like, oh, duh. Like, you clearly know.
Even if it's not like, oh, this person got a BFA in directing, like, let's give them $100 million. Like, it's not even like that, but it's like you would think someone would get a PA job off of something like that, because it's like, this person understands something.
Exactly. Like, you were handed a set of tools. You should know what to do. I should be able to throw you right in the fire and you understand what's going on. Because people will, like, actors will go to Juilliard. And people will be like, oh, they went to Juilliard. But, like, nobody's going to, obviously, ours was Columbia, but nobody's going to look at our stuff and go, oh, Columbia College Hollywood. But I don't know. Like, that's always boggled my mind of, like, I kind of wanted to, as, like, a test, if and when I get called into my next interview, because I meant to do it with this last one and I completely forgot. But in the next interview that I get, I would love to be like, can I ask if my degree had any sort of sway or pull?
What got me in this room,
like
essentially?
what made it in what essentially, like, if what got me in, and did it have anything to do with the fact that I had a degree?
Yeah.
And specifically a degree in this. I would almost put money. I would put my pinky toe on the fact that they're just gonna be like, no, we just liked the links that you had on your link tree, and you make funny TikTok edits sometimes.
Yeah, because that's what I'm always thinking about. Because I'm always like for one of the recent ones, it was like, I mean, it was a PA gig, but it was like an animation. But like there was one I did, and it was just like to see what would happen with it, because it's you could start with one medium, and there's still a lot to learn.
Yeah.
And it was like I was rejected, and it was like I was thinking about it even just today. I was like, on the night I applied, because this one was they got to me pretty quick, but I was like, I was scrambling to get I was writing a cover letter. I was scrambling to get an updated recommendation letter from somebody because I had lost it.
Oh yeah, I remember.
From shout out Steve Miller, love that man. I had done I basically just scrambled to just get this thing in, and then it was like, so me putting like, I don't know if I was able to link my reel that I currently have, although it has a big glaring error that we have to fix, where audio repeats twice. But it's like I went through this, I did all this stuff to make sure it's personalized so that I stood out, and it's still
it's looked over.
Yeah, it was just like, hey, we're not gonna do it, and I'm like, is it because I had nothing animation related? Is it because my cover letter, they're like, oh, I've read 1,000 cover letters like this? Is it just like there were just better candidates? But it's like, that's what sucks, is just it sucks on both ends, where it's like, I'm presenting myself by just giving you a piece of paper that has a bunch of stuff written on it,
right?
And you don't know me, you can't see me
unless you want to.
Yeah, and you don't know anything about me. I'm just a name on a paper. And maybe my resume stands out a little bit more because I have like my name bolded or something like that. So it's like, it's on that end, it sucks. And then it also sucks on the other end because it's like, you don't get any feedback. You don't know what it was that made you not stand out. You don't know if it was just, oh, well, he went to this school. Oh, well, he only has a BFA. Oh, well, oh, he only has one production thing on here. It's like, that's what bothers me. It's like, I mean, I don't need transparency. I mean, any job can throw your resume away or anything like that, but it's like,
for any reason.
When I used to work at Lowe's, like when I applied there, and I didn't know if I was gonna get it. I don't know anything about like what I was applying for, but it was like I could assume like, oh, well, someone that got hired that knows more about inside and outside garden than me, like that's an easy thing to kind of like, oh, it's someone who worked at Home Depot across the street, and they're jumping over, like it's a lot easier in that. But like in our industry, it is so much like, well, what is it? Because no one is ever saying that. People just keep saying, well, you just need more experience. But you're talking about how you have 8 years of experience, and you're still just being told like, oh, someone else was a better fit. How? Yeah. How? Like, because I'm not saying you'd be like, these corporations don't owe us anything.
No.
But it's just like, it just boggles my mind that there's not any level of like, this is what we were looking for, or what we are looking for.
No, because it's just no. Yeah. But I can understand why it would be for stylistic differences of like given I'm just kind of throwing things up against the wall to see what sticks when I apply for jobs. Mm-hmm. And something that I will say that I have been trying differently is I used to never write cover letters. And that's something that I'm trying new. I looked up like a template of like a decent cover letter that people grab. I'm pretty sure even people, I like took some stuff from people on TikTok who was like, I've used this template for every job and I've ever applied for, and I've always gotten the job. Use this thing. Yeah. So I've tried it and thrown things out there, because in my head, I could be applying to work as a content creator or a video editor, an assistant editor for a gym, a wellness brand, a gaming studio, like whatever, right? But none of the work that I have would probably like cover any of that, right? So like but in my head, I'm pitching it as, well, look, I know how to edit. I know how to make these things. Yeah. You can see that I know what I'm doing and I can put two and two together. Maybe it's not good like in your eyes, or maybe you're not seeing it as like, oh, this is a great edit. Like you're not seeing it as a technical standpoint, but like it's very easy for people to like see that I made a Daredevil video.
Yeah.
And go, cool. So you can like put a bunch of like random crap together and that looks great, but what does that have anything to do with my stuff? I don't think she can edit this.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, but you haven't given me the material. Like, it's a very like weird thing to do of like, if you just sit and talk with me, or if you put me in a chair in front of a computer and be like, here's like, I always appreciate when jobs like specifically video editing jobs, I've had a couple of these where they'll send you material.
Yeah.
And they'll say, okay, here's what we're looking for. Here's a style guide. Here's a branding guide. Here's a couple of our past videos. See if you can do this.
Yeah, that I really like.
I
like,
appreciate
I think that is like, it's actually, I wanted to go back to what you said about cover letters. Like, I think that a lot of people do overlook that. Like, I almost everything where it's offered, I do it, because like literally my job I have right now, I got it. I've been told by my manager I got it because of a cover letter. Like, she said that's why
I didn't know
I got it, because I wrote a cover letter that pertained to the store.
Yeah.
Because I used to go to the store when I was a kid. I went there a couple times, and I remember I can tell you exact issues that comic books I know I got there, and I know exactly which one of them is. It was the New 52 Action Comics one. I remember that.
Yeah.
Pretty sure I may have gotten a Superman. Like I always forget if I got Superman Earth 1 there. It's a book. But I know one of my favorite figure sets I've ever gotten were my black and white NECA turtles that were based on the original TMNT comic book, which was printed in black and white because it was cheaper. But all the turtles came in black and white because my parents got it for me just because they're like, they saw how I was like, those are cool. I was like, those are the coolest things. I was like, I was like, I want them, and like, not like a greedy little kid, but they like could see like I genuinely was like, because I knew I was like,
those are cool.
I was like, though they look like that because, and I was like 12, 11, 12 at the time, and so they were like, oh, he genuinely like they always knew I loved TMNT. I always had a lot of TMNT toys, but like that one in particular, they're like, oh, he like is genuinely passionate about these particular ones, and like they even thought they were cool, so I got them, and I wrote that in my cover letter, like, this is the relationship I have to this store.
Right.
I would love to work here. And my manager said, like, yeah, like I really like, not many people write cover letters, and I read yours, and I really appreciated it, and I really like what you said in it. It's like it does help you stand out, and even like there's a job application that and this is also something that really cheeses me off. This isn't like to take down the application system. It's just like
down with applications.
It just it is something that I want any storyteller to know. Anybody that's struggling with jobs. It's like these corporations, they want you to work for them, but they're not gonna look out for you. Like they don't care about you. You're on their time. Like, I have an application that to a major place. I did a really nice cover letter. We made the reel really quick because I really wanted to apply to this job. I was literally fighting against the clock because I had to head out to work, and it was like, if I don't leave at this time, I'm going to be late for work. Yeah. Major place for a PA gig, and I still haven't gotten word about it.
That would make a lot of sense for you to be at, by the way, too.
It's one that I'm like, I would kill to be here, either because there's only 2 positions, and one's film, one's TV. Either one, I would jump at the opportunity to be on.
Perfect fit.
I would love to go and work there. I think I could learn so much, and I think it would be a good place to transition. I applied for that, I think, about 2 months ago at this point. Yeah. I still have not gotten a single thing.
It hasn't updated?
No, it just says my application was received. No email correspondence, nowhere to correspond to anybody. And it is still
just in the ether.
The posting has been taken down, but the application was still received. So I'm like, but it doesn't say anywhere that the role was filled.
I could imagine that because it's a bigger, thing, it might take a while.
Yeah, but it's like,
but even still,
it'd be cool to know that. It's like, I wish, and I want to forewarn anybody, like, you were on their time. So like, and I'm saying that too, like, because it's kind of like what you talk about, in the sense, like, when you don't get one, you immediately jump back on and applied for 10 more. Yeah. I would say, if you are someone who is in that boat, I mean, I am hedging my bets on that one. I have applied to other ones since, is what I'm trying to say, is like, fill that time applying to other ones. I'm a little more picky and choosy with the ones I apply to. I really shouldn't be, but I'm picky and choosy just because I don't have a lot of qualifications for other ones that I get recommended. Like, I don't, like, there's a lot of stuff I can't do.
See, I just do it anyway.
Well, but see, I there's some of that, like, I genuinely, I cannot do.
You never know. I would just literally throw it out.
But that's also because I also am an independent filmmaker and independent storyteller, so I'm also, some of my other stuff is like already feels like a full-time job, and I have a job that is paying the bills for now. But it's like, I have the podcast, I have the audio drama, and it's like I want to focus on those things because I think that those, if they take off, can be viable. They can be viable
When they take off.
They can be viable things to get my foot in the door places and get people to notice my work. And in a way, I almost prefer those things because over a resume, because it's like, rather than my name be a name on a piece of paper, not only can those things be added to the piece of paper, but it's like, oh, it's not just a name in the stack. Like, it's, oh, did you hear so-and-so was on this podcast talking about his audio drama?
Yeah.
And I listened to it and I really liked it. Like, maybe let's just remember that name, so then when that piece of paper comes across the desk, it's, oh yeah, I listened to something from this guy or something like that. But yeah, it's just, it's really, really not fun to, and I caution anyone to ascribe any of your self-worth to that. Like, it's never, it's whatever these companies, and like these, and they're well-meaning, I know a lot of them aren't doing it maliciously, but it's like, you have to know it isn't, it isn't because of you or your belief, anything about you. It's just like, it's just, there is a certain thing that they want to kind of fit somebody into, and it's not always going to be you. And that's something I want people to know. It's like, it's not always going to be you. It's not, and that's okay. And that's, there will be a time when it is you. And there is a time when that name on the piece of paper will stand out and things like that. But yeah, I mean, that was pretty much what we wanted to hop on here and talk about, was just like not worrying about that, or like not just making that the entire crux of your existence, or thinking any less of yourself after rejection, or thinking, oh, my resume is, it's something with me. It's whether it's, oh, I didn't make a good resume, or like, oh, it's just all the stuff I have on there isn't eye-catching or doesn't matter, stuff like that. No, it does. It's just,
it's not as eye-catching as the next one.
Yeah, that's true. It's like, it's that, and it's just, you're just not what they're looking for. And I know it sounds really blunt and harsh, but it's like, that's the truth. It's like, you're not always going to be what someone's looking for, but you can still go and make your stuff, and you can still just keep trying. I hope no one ever gets, like, I get bummed out about them, but then I just go, well, that's, I'll go do something else that fulfills me today, and yeah, I'll learn from this one and try something different on the next application. Maybe I'll write a longer cover letter. Maybe I'll make it a little shorter and succinct. Like I can say, more recent one I did, I was also kind of rushing because I was a little tired. It was later at night, and I made it shorter. And so one of the first things was like, oh, maybe the cover letter just wasn't strong enough, or maybe maybe I should have just done one recommendation letter, or some, or maybe I should have seen if there was a way to put more recommendation letters than just the one that I prioritized. But I mean, it is a really good recommendation letter, but it's just like, it is just part of the way things are. It's nothing with you. It's nothing, you're not, it's not like, it's not anything to worry, like, am I the problem? It's like, you're not, it's not a problem. It's just how it goes.
Can you just have more experience? If you could just get some more experience, that'd be great. It's
what am I supposed to do?
How? I don't know. Just go get more experience, man.
That's always just what kills me. It's just like, everybody wants experience, but they just don't want to hand it out.
Yeah,
and it's like,
that's like the age-old thing about the industry, though. Yeah. And you'd think too. Oh, this was my point that I want to make earlier. The thing that I always find very funny, especially with how things are like nowadays, you would think that like having people who, like how we have pretty much in one, whether it's like me and you, or like you and like everybody back home who's helping you film, like you are a filmmaker the second that you decided to write a script up and shoot something, whether it was on a camcorder or on your phone or whatever. I truly believe that.
I mean, that's the James Cameron quote. He said, if you want to be a director, direct. He's like, just grab a camera and make stuff. That makes you a director.
I mean,
paraphrasing.
But it's like, And nowadays it's like Apple is like exclusively making their stuff, like all their cameras and their specs and stuff, to tailor to be able to shoot.
Yeah.
Like for people to
They
be able
have
to
a
say,
whole mode just called cinematic mode.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like they have it to where it's like people take pride, like Apple takes pride in the fact that it shot on an iPhone.
Yeah.
I'm sure like most like major movies have had sequences, like you were talking about that one sequence where it was like 30 iPhones.
Yeah, 28 years later, a lot of the movie is shot on an iPhone.
Yeah, so it's like the thing that's like super ironic to me is like, so speaking from your reel, so I'm the one who wanted it, you have things that you have made. Because in a world where everybody wants to experience but they don't want to give it out, you made your own experience. And you would think that that would be more to a company to say, oh wow, okay, so not only can he come up with something, he can write a script, he can direct himself, he can have an outline, he has structure, this, that, the other, he knows how to operate cameras and this, even though it's a phone, like whatever, right? People who are making their own stuff from start to finish, I feel like aren't even getting recognition for that, because it's like, okay, great, yeah, it takes an army to do a whole production, start to finish. It takes a village to make something on your own. Yeah. So it's like especially for the amount that you have too, because you have quite a few of your own things, like Zach Carter and Real Gems and the podcast and all the Daredevil stuff that you've done. Like you have a lot of them. So it's not like it was like a one and done, like, oh, here's my thing. And like you also have stuff that you made in college too. So it's like they're not all for naught, and it's not for no merit, but it's just weird how don't see that.
And this is just a completely made up example of it, but it's like it really like just based on my own, I'm making this fake example based on my own experiences of people I know. It really feels like these places would rather hire someone who who grabbed people lunch and made plates of food for people and like maybe occasionally like moved a light or something like that over someone who conceived of an idea, wrote it, put together a crew, shot it, had somebody edit it, and maybe even like they won an award or something like that. Like I think of people like
it's because they were on set and they have it's I have a feeling it's still very much dipped into the toe of that kid got me coffee.
Dipped into the toe?
Oh, is that what I said? Dipping
into the toe.
Dip their toe in. It's still very much, I don't know why I said toe. Dipping into the fact that, oh, well, Billy over here, all he ever did was get my dry cleaning and got everybody coffee in the office. Yeah. But I know him. Yeah. And I know that he's really freaking good at getting coffee and picking up my dry cleaning. And he did that while being under me. Yeah. Versus, here's Garrett. I don't know anything about this kid. But it's like, here's Garrett who has all of these things under his belt, and he clearly knows at least something to be able to make not one, not two, but like 5 or 6 different things on his own and have all of these things happen. But Garrett's not Billy. Yeah. I haven't seen Garrett on a set. I haven't seen Garrett go pick up someone's, like, it boils down to ever since the pandemic hit, it has always been, here's your lifeboat, and you are holding on to the people who you think need to be in that lifeboat. And I feel like even still, we're now, 5 years after the pandemic? No. And I feel like
some would say it never ended.
Well, no, but it's still one of those things where it's like, I feel like that hasn't ever let up since then. I feel like it's just been grab everybody and pray, and it's been, I mean, I don't even hear many of our friends getting things, or anybody in like college really, like
I hear more people losing things, if I'm being honest.
Like, the only things that I'm seeing people breaking into are like random things. Like I saw one person get a job with like a casting agency. Yeah. Which is like the most awesome. That's a part of it, but it's like that's the most random thing. Like that person I know went to our school to be an actor. So it kind of relates because they can kind of see, but I mean, I don't think that person's going to go, I can see where that would pertain, but I don't think that person's going to go out to any more like casting calls or like their own like bookings and stuff because they just have that job. But it's like, I also know people who are not even doing anything related to film anymore because it's just
I
don't
mean,
know.
I know people who, friend of the show, Chris Hall, who's like splitting the difference. Is like he has an industry, he has like one foot in the
He has it
industry,
in, yeah.
but then he has another job. I mean, I mean, at the time of this, like in the past, he's talked about how like he does have a film job where he is like making stuff and like making miniatures and things like that. But then also that's not. It's like not enough to actually keep the lights on.
Right.
So he's also, he was working retail at the same time and like working like hot dog water shifts. Like, hot dog water is a thing people from Lowe's that was written on one of our, and outside garden, we had these things that we would like, I guess you call them like, we call them like banners, but like you would string them across an aisle so you could close it down. And for some reason, someone in Sharpie wrote hot dog water on one of ours. So I use that phrase as like, you don't want to drink hot dog water. It's like it's like, why have? Well, you'd rather have water than hot dog water.
Yeah,
But that to say, it's just like he's even in the industry.
Yeah,
but it's also not like he's also still having to work.
Well,
working 9 to 5.
The funny thing too is like you hear that. And that's a normalized thing for actors, right? It's always like, oh, I'm an actor in LA and I also work at a coffee shop. Oh, I'm an actor in LA.
Yeah.
And I also work at Hollister. Like, whatever it is. I feel like we always, like, when you think of that thing, that trope.
Yeah.
It's never applied to anything else in the film industry other than actors.
Yeah, no.
When it definitely
it's everybody,
does.
It's writers. It's... And speaking to your thing about, like, basically having, like, almost pivot out of your own thing, it's like, I know plenty of people that, like, I've talked about my friend Julian, friend of the show, listener. We work together at the same shop. We both went to film school. Obviously there's a little bit of an age difference, but he's just as energetic and spry. But I make him sound like he's super old. He's not. He's only
and
like,
he's still kicking.
He's
guys.
like 10 years older than me. That's it. But it's like he also. We talk all the time about our aspirations to write and do things like that, and but he is and he is like he's also a person who's worn many hats. He's been an assistant. He's been he worked in property management. He works where we work together, and but so it's like it is not uncommon like that. It's like you still have the drive and the goal and the want, but it's like there are some people who move into these other things and they like them just as much, if not more. Like I think I might know who you're talking about when you talk about a casting agency. I know if it's a person I believe it is, I know that person loves that job just as much as that. Like this person's always they're always posting on like their story like their name in the credits of like casting things. I'm like, I got to work on this one, this show and things like that. And I'm always like, whoa, that's awesome. Like they're super excited about it. That's not something I ever want to do. Cause like, I mean, I'm not speaking specifically to that position. I just mean like, I don't want to have to pivot to something else or like something tangentially related. Yeah. I don't mind something tangentially related like now or to keep the lights on because like, I'm always going to be, no matter what, I'm always going to be creative and stuff like that. But it's like, I never just want something that's going to fill the void like, well, I went for writing and producing or something like that. But
I mean, I wouldn't see it because
it's not a bad thing.
No, but I get it. Like, you don't want to settle, which is fair. But I don't think this is the weirdest part of our industry. I don't think we ever truly like settle for things. I was doing air quotes, like settle. But I think we just are able to find what we can to be able to like keep ourselves within the industry and have some sort of like a knowledge of like ongoing, so that way when the opportunity does present itself, you can step in. Or like even like that's why it's like it's always the whole thing of like, well, you start as a PA. I mean, even I started as a PA at one of my jobs, but like I wasn't even a real PA. I was like a junior assistant editor, which isn't a real title, but it was like basically I just ran hard drives.
Yeah.
And then like helped with like backlogging and stuff. Like it wasn't.
Yeah.
But it's see, like it's the PA equivalent of like what my stuff would be.
I kind of wish though that would be stopped. That would no longer be presented as the way.
Yeah.
Period.
I mean but it's hard because it's like then it falls into the thing of like, well, unless you know somebody, there's no one that can vouch unless you do your own thing.
I know. I mean, like, and I know, if that happens for me, cool. But it's like I look at more like the independent filmmakers of like the 90s and things like that. It's like they weren't like a lot of them weren't PAs. They were just people that were just like, well, I got a video camera, and then you get these things that are like, you know, crystallized in time, and it's like they went around it, and it's like that's why I'm so interested in finding a team now making stuff outside of the industry to catch the industry's eye but not be subservient to it. It's like, you know, I want to work in it, but I want to work in it, and I want to make stuff in it, but I don't want to be beholden to it. It's why I'm like trying to build something with Chris and Campbell. It's like I've been obsessed with this idea of building some, I mean, guess you could call it a production studio, but like building like an ecosystem. It's like I'm a student of film.
Right.
You know, obviously I don't know everything. People give me shiza for for not it's funny I just said that, but I could have just said the actual word considering what that word means. You know, I get a lot of malarkey for not having seen everything, but that doesn't make me any less of a student of film. That's just a tangent. That's for if Julian's listening, he can stop cleaning his apartment and hear that part and get upset. But it's like, it's why I am so much like, as much as I am a student of film, it's also like I am a child of the internet, like, right. You know, and it's like it's almost, it is limiting to just look at the industry as the only way, like as making things in the industry as the only way to get people's attention. It's like there's a kid, A24 is developing a movie for a kid. He's the youngest director for a A24 movie. He's 19 years old. Wow. Because he made something online. I don't know all the details, but he made something online, and it just got people's eyes, and they're gonna give him the tools to make a full movie. He's 19 years old, and he's gonna make his feature film through A24. So it's like you can do these things, and there's all these streaming services. And I'm not even talking about Netflix, Hulu, things like there's Mubi, there's Shudder, there's like all these other ones that are there for up and coming filmmakers to give them a platform. You know, I think even like Tubi will do independent films, like, you know, things like that. Like they'll pick them up and show, and, you know, be on the platform. Whether, you know, you kind of have to, in that case, you kind of have to be your own publicity. But that's a different story. But it's like there is so many alternatives, and there are so many ways to like get your stuff seen and make it where it's like, you know, and it all ties back into what we've been talking about. It's like, you know, you go for these positions, and I want you to go, I mean, I'm not telling you what to do, but I want you to keep in mind like that it is possible getting that job could make you. Yeah. But I don't want it to break you if you don't get it. And I want people just to also consider, it's like, don't look at every single opportunity as this is the one that makes me. Yeah. If I don't get this, there, like, more so
dental school.
I also just don't want it to be like, don't approach these all as these are the only way I'm going to get in, because there are so, I want people to know, it's like, even if you applied for a PA gig and it didn't go well, yes, apply for more. Like, I think that is a smart thing to do. I think also breathe, go outside, get some fresh air if you get rejected, but also consider, like, is there some way I can make my own thing? Yeah. Is there a way I can network? You know, this job would be great for networking. Getting it would make me introduce me to so many other people. If you didn't get it, what is a different way you can network with somebody? Yeah. What's a different way you could get more industry connections? What mixers can you go to? What places can you go to?
You know, it's funny you say that, because I just came across the other day, whenever I'm on TikTok's algorithm is like super wonky now, where it's like you watch one video one time and you check a comment one time. That's like all that's on your feed now.
That's why I have like 50,000 Glenn Powell videos on my feed.
But I fell down like a filmmaker's rabbit hole somehow, because I was on an editing kick for a little bit on there of just like people make the like snippet, like 1 minute premiere tips or whatever, and it trickled down into different like filmmakers. Yeah. And I literally couldn't tell you how many different groups of people, like groups of 2 or 3 people who were like, hey, we're Owl Backwards Head Productions. I don't know, like whatever, right? Like, it's
like filmmakers of LA filmmakers for LA.
Yeah. Like, well, no, but these were people who legitimately made their own thing, and were saying like, We're a group of spunky young filmmakers
Yeah.
who are trying to, exactly what you're talking about, break out of the industry and do
Yeah.
our own thing. And I could not tell you how many of those I saw within a span of like 2 hours being
Yeah.
on TikTok. It was insane to see because
You
it was
know,
like for
Yeah.
solely like an all girls one. There's one where it's like, oh hey, we're a bunch of horror fans and all we do is horror and da 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 da. And it's like it's crazy to see how many people
Yeah.
are doing it and have such like a good momentum too.
Yeah.
So I do think we're in an age now where like I think people are getting just as frustrated as we are,
Yeah.
like within our like age and generation and stuff, where like we don't want the same old white dudes hanging out in
Yeah.
Hollywood calling shots anymore.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's like, speaking of like services, like a great example I think of is like there's a service called Nebula,
Yep.
Which I have been subscribed to, where they are like a small studio. They give money to filmmakers, including one of my favorite people to watch online, Patrick H. Willems, who's like he makes videos on YouTuber. I wouldn't call him like a YouTuber, like that's how where he.
I mean, he's like a filmmaker who capitalizes on YouTube.
Well, yeah, but I don't think he like would out and out call himself a YouTuber. That is just a platform he posts on. But that to say, he has posted on YouTube for years, but he also puts his videos up on Nebula. That's where he also like he made his feature film debut. His movie is officially on Letterboxd and stuff like that. It's on IMDb. It's a feature film that is a conclusion to a story he was telling in a serialized way on his YouTube channel. That is, and not only is that, so like he made his feature film debut. He made a whole ass film, and he's making a short film with like a budget and with a cast and things like that. And like people that are in like SAG, like Griffin Newman, who the host of Blank Check, is the star of this short film that he's doing, and it's like it's a real ass movie.
Wait, Griffo's a star?
Huh?
Griffo's a star?
Yeah, he's the star of it.
Way to go, Griffo!
Oh, Griffin's an actual working actor.
No, I know,
he
but
was
that's
on
awesome.
The Tick. He was in Masters of the Universe Revelations. Like,
Still, it's awesome.
yeah, it just goes to show you. It's like Patrick. I think he's talked about like he didn't see it going exactly this way, but like he used the platform what's available to him, which is YouTube, and specifically making his niche was making film criticism, film analysis videos, and he said, well, what if I just made like a long running story.
Yeah.
In those videos, like, what if I made those videos more than just me talking at the camera about like Christopher Nolan movies? What if like also there was an evil coconut that was doing stuff and like an alternate version of me?
I love that guy.
And like revealing that like, oh, this whole time that you've been watching these YouTube videos, one is actually me from one Earth and the other one's me from a different Earth. And if you notice, because one has different hair and like all these different like crazy things.
There's a PCU.
Yeah.
There's a Patrick Cinematic Universe.
Patrick, the PHWCU, Patrick H. Willems, because he emphasizes that H.
Sorry.
I always have wondered why he emphasizes the H.
Because the H is important.
But I just always wonder, like, is there another Patrick Willems? But it's like, that's another person who found a way to get his filmmaking out there, and he made that movie. Even though he had a budget, he
still made it.
It was like a crew of like 5 people at most, and it was a whole feature ass film. I keep saying ASS, like it was because I'm trying to emphasize like it was a really good movie. Like it was a feature film. Like it was like you would not know that it was only like 5 people that shot it. Like he did pulled out all the stops.
Yeah.
All that to say, don't let the rejections break you. Don't be discouraged that maybe your name on the piece of paper with all your background stuff just got looked away. There are ways to build from these things, ways to learn from these things that will better you, ways to as a storyteller, and it applies if you're not a storyteller, but specifically the show's about storytellers, is still your story to tell. Mm-hmm. Like it is you, just because you didn't get those jobs doesn't mean, I don't want that to discourage you from still making, still creating, still trying to find your own end, possibly.
Yeah, a piece of paper doesn't define you, your work ethic, your style, your drive. That's just simply it's a brochure of what's to come. And if people, I don't know. I wish that people would more so have a better way of picking people out rather than resumes, because I feel like resumes are the most impersonal things known to man, because you could put the most craziest stuff on a piece of paper, but it won't matter because
you could say, I had beers with Bono, and it's just like, I don't like the font, and it will just,
Well, and even in that, it's just I've never been a huge fan of that because I don't know why. I've literally had the notion since I was 16 years old. It doesn't make any sense to me why you wouldn't already have an interview. Like, it should be a part of the application process.
You know what it's like? It's like dating apps.
Kind of, yeah. But I feel like with dating apps,
but think about something like Tinder.
Yeah.
Think about Tinder where you're literally swiping left or right just based on
the only difference
surface
is,
level.
Yeah, I was gonna say the only difference is you can see
a picture,
the person, but like you can also attach. I've seen resumes.
Think about even like a headshot. Like,
I've seen resumes that have nothing to do with actors who have a picture of themselves on their resume. So
it's
that's
just like,
literally the same thing.
It's like if you wouldn't let that determine your self-worth, don't let that. And I weep at the thought of like lost art because people think like, oh well, they don't want me. Yeah. Like, like I just worry about like
blank company doesn't.
Yeah, it's like, no, I've done all this stuff and this person doesn't want me, so maybe I'm just not meant for this industry. It would break my heart to think about what we would lose from people that get discouraged. But
I also want to point out as a fun tidbit, you can't see it, but we've been doing this whole podcast on the in the amazing lit screen.
We're actually doing this not from the couch. We're doing this in Mikey Studios on the Cha-Cha lot, okay? It's professional.
Which is lit professionally by the Roku home screen.
Yes.
The whole living room is purple, and we keep seeing Cantella TV.
I'm looking at the diner right now.
There's a boat.
There's also the totally not Avengers Tower in the background.
Hey, look, it's totally not. It's Dominic Toretto's car.
Yeah,
that just passed by there.
No, surely then not Batman.
Yeah.
Roku Man. Remote Man.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, and also not Castaway out there.
Yeah.
But
no.
Anywho, I think that's going to do it for this go around. I think we had a really healthy discussion. I think we had a really good look at it.
I think so.
I
feel better.
We both have been dealing with different kinds of rejection, but we still have each other.
I would never reject you.
I would never reject you.
All right.
Keep it professional. That was my foot.
We did a high five.
Folks, I use my feet like hands because I'm just that skilled.
No, that was disgusting.
I use my feet like hands. Anywho, we're going to wrap it up right there. That's how it's going to end. If you want to know about the show, I'm trying to get better about posting on the social medias. It's hard sometimes.
Do more.
I'm trying.
More.
Julian wants me to make a clips channel. I'm like, bro.
Is he going to do it? Would he manage it?
That's the thing. He
Julian,
was like,
this is your call to action.
He was like, you should make a clips channel. I was like, bro, what else do you think I should do? It's hard out here, man.
This is Julian's call to action.
Yeah, Julian, if you want to do it, brother, crack open Premiere, brother, man. I know you got.
I'm already editing a podcast, baby boo. I can't do it.
Yeah. So if you want to know stuff about the show, at NJAG Pod on Instagram and TikTok, those are the only two things I'm posting on in regards to the show. If you want to know, at the moment there's no updates, but I would follow at Bachelor Class for as we get closer to Crusades of the Nexus.
Yep.
Still no update. Still the same update I've been given. We're almost there.
Yep.
We're getting there, but yeah, that's gonna do it for this edition of Not Just A Guy. I have been your host, Not Just A Guy, the guy Garrett Briones, joined by not just a co-host, the co-host Emily Cunningham.
Hello.
We will talk at you next time. This has been a Bachelor Class production, hosted by Garrett Briones, edited by Emily Cunningham, music provided by Stephen Cruz. For more information, follow us at Bachelor Class.